Hi, good morning, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope all of you are very safe and healthy. Okay, I'm back again. And the topic of the day today, this is in continuation to my video series, Introduction to AWS Services. Okay, and today we will study about Amazon DynamoDB. Okay, so this is the topic of the day today. Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service from AWS that stores data in tables, items, and attributes. Okay, so let's understand this. Amazon DynamoDB is a database service. Okay, serverless database service from AWS, and it is fully managed and NoSQL. NoSQL means a schemaless. Okay, so for other RDBMS databases like Microsoft SQL Server, MS SQL Server, MS SQL, MySQL, or the Postgres SQL Server. Okay, these are the RDBMS databases. Okay, and unlike these databases, DynamoDB is serverless. Okay, because we don't need any server in order to use the DynamoDB. And if we have to work with the MySQL, MS SQL, or the Postgres SQL server, okay, then we need to first of all we need a server to configure. We need to an EC2 instance or the virtual machine or the computer where we will install the server, my MS SQL server, Postgres SQL server, or the MySQL server itself. Then we will be able to work with those RDBMS databases. Okay, and even if our application will be able to use. But that is not the case with DynamoDB. For DynamoDB, we don't need any server. Okay, we operate DynamoDB from the management console that is provided by AWS, where we can log into the DynamoDB console. We can create the database. Okay, and it provides the SDKs. Okay, SDKs are available in all the languages. If you are a C# developer, Python developer, Java developer, okay, in all the popular languages, the DynamoDB provides its SDK, wherein you can connect your application to DynamoDB, okay, in order to read write the data from any application. So that was about the serverless database, serverless behavior of the DynamoDB, and fully managed, because as we don't configure any server, we don't create any server for the DynamoDB. It is serverless, and all the backend infrastructure, whatever memory, resource, CPU, all the storage is required for the DynamoDB, AWS manages in the background itself. Okay, and we don't have to be worried about all those things. Okay, so that is the serverless and fully managed itself. Okay, fully managed means it all controls the scalability, okay, availability, and the performance of the DynamoDB, all managed by the underlying infrastructure by the AWS. Okay, we only have to create and manage the database in the DynamoDB console on the AWS management panel, and we can connect our applications to the applications to the DynamoDB, and we can keep on working, keep going itself. So that was about fully managed. And let us understand the second term, NoSQL, as RDBMS databases like Microsoft SQL Server, MS SQL Server, the Postgres SQL Server. These are the RDBMS databases where we have to follow the defined or certain schema. Okay, if you have worked on these RDBMS databases, you might have seen that we have to define the table where we have to predefine all the columns and their types. Okay, and so the proper schema we have to follow. But in case of DynamoDB, that is not the case. We have the flexibility, like it is a schemaless. Okay, so assume there's a table, employee table, and it has 10 records or 20 records. It has the behavior like every record may have different number of columns. Okay, and every column may have different type of data. Okay, that is the flexibility. Okay, so this is in terms that DynamoDB is a schemaless. Okay, so this is the primary characteristics of DynamoDB. Right, it is fully managed, serverless, schemaless. Okay, and it is very performant. okay, in terms of the read write and the data retrieval latency, DynamoDB is very performant. Okay, it is designed to handle wide range of applications that requires a scalability and performance. Okay, it supports key value and document data structure, can store and retrieve any amount of data. Okay, it is a scalable in its behavior, like in terms of when the depending upon the traffic, the load of the application, and the storage requirement, it DynamoDB automatically scales and scales down itself as per the as per the need. Okay, so that is scalable, and it is highly available also, because it supports the global table creation, and the replica of the DynamoDB we may get available in multiple zones, okay, and across the regions itself. So that is in terms DynamoDB is highly available, okay, and used for high performance application where very much low latency read write access is required through the applications itself. And the second thing is like it stores the data in key value pair. Okay, key value pair, like we might have seen the JSON structure, JSON body, where we specify the properties and the value, that the key and the value. So in the same behavior, it stores the data. Okay, so all those are the basic characteristics, basic behavior of the DynamoDB. Okay, let us deep dive into the DynamoDB itself further. So in our day-to-day life and in across different type of application, we might have seen like we encounter these three kinds of data types, like unstructured data, semi-structured data, and structured data. Okay, unstructured data where there is no structure, no schema. Okay, it doesn't follow any particular pattern. Like you can see that it can have the paragraph, it can have the images, videos, photos. Okay, and all and objects, shapes, everything, all messed up. Okay, so this is all kind of unstructured data. This is semi-structured data, like XML file or the JSON file, where data is not fully organized, but it is organized in up to some extent. Okay, so these are the kind of semi-structured data, and this is, you can see, structured data where all the data are properly aligned in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so that is structured data. So we have Microsoft SQL Server, SQL, PostgreSQL Server, and MySQL itself. All those RDBMS database wherein we can store the data in with a proper schema, proper rows and column. So these RDBMS databases are handling the structured data. Okay. Where DynamoDB comes in picture? DynamoDB comes in picture to handle the unstructured data. Okay. So any kind of unstructured data, DynamoDB can manage and can store and can handle very well. Okay. So that is the benefit of DynamoDB itself. Okay. But still, even DynamoDB stores the data in the form of rows and column format. Okay. But the flexibility here is like in a table, all the rows can have multiple columns, any number of columns, variant number of columns. Okay, and each column in every row may have different kind of data. Okay, unlike in this structure, structured data wherein MS SQL or the MySQL, take an example of this kind of table like ID column or the name column. In the ID column, you cannot put any string. Okay, in the name column, you cannot put any Boolean value. Okay, in the age column, you cannot write any text. Okay, so we have the constraint here. We have to follow the proper schema. But in the DynamoDB, you can define your column. Okay, and you can write your value as per your as and when required, and at the need basis. Okay, so we have the flexibility here with the DynamoDB. Here we can see a typical structure of a DynamoDB table, like people table. It is having these many attributes, like the first row. Every row in the DynamoDB is called an item. Okay, so this table you can see we have 3 items: 101, 102, 103. Okay, and the first row have attribute last name, first name, phone number. Second row contains last name, first name, that is same, but the third column is different. Okay, we discussed, right? In DynamoDB may have, each row may have different columns and different values it can store. Even when going to the third row, it is having the last name, first name, favorite color, and again address here. Okay, so only we are following, we are storing the data in the form of rows and column. But other flexibility here is like every row may have different columns and different rows. Okay, that is the plus point of the DynamoDB. Okay, and in a table, you can see the people table here. Each row is called an item here in terms of DynamoDB. Okay, and each column is called attributes. Okay, that is the terminology of the DynamoDB. So please note that. And this is the JSON representation of the same data that we have seen here in the form of table, but we can see in the form of JSON. It can store the nested values, right? In the address, we can put the JSON like this. So this is the structure, JSON representation of the same data itself. Benefits of DynamoDB. DynamoDB is very cost effective because as we discussed, like it is fully managed by AWS itself. And we don't have to configure any server that is running 24/7. Okay, it is completely serverless. Okay, and AWS charges us only for the time, and since the DynamoDB is running and our application is using the DynamoDB service. Okay, so it is pay per use. It is unlike the EC2 machine, EC2 instance, or the virtual machine. It is not charging you for the entire day, even though the application or the database is running or not, or being used or not. It is not charging that way. Okay, so in terms of that, it is very cost effective, highly available because it runs in the AWS infrastructure, and we can have the replica in multiple zones itself. Okay, even across the regions itself of the DynamoDB. So in terms of that, it is very highly available, and it is very seamlessly integrated with other AWS services. Like DynamoDB can be accessed by AWS Lambda. It can be integrated with the S3 and all other AWS services. Even we can. It has the SDK. Okay, software development kit available for all the languages. Like you are a Python developer, or you are a .NET developer, or PHP developer. Okay, so in all the available languages, it has the SDK, and it can be integrated with all the languages itself. Okay, even you can write the custom API that can integrate with the read-write the data from your web interface or the application API itself. That custom API also you can develop. So all those features we have with the DynamoDB. Benefits. Features that it is very much performant. Okay, fast and predictable performance with low latency, very low latency. Okay, we can the latency of the reading or writing the data is very very low, and it is very performant. Okay, scalability that we also discussed, like underlying infrastructure, like whatever resource, memory, and storage. It can scale down and a scale up and a scale down itself accordingly as per the application load up application. Okay, or the traffic. Okay, so it is scalable in that term and can handle 10 trillion requests per day and 20 million requests per second. Okay, that is the performance of DynamoDB itself. Fully managed, like no infrastructure management. We don't have the burden or we don't have to worry about the infrastructure because AWS all manages itself in the background. Okay, and we don't have to concern about that. Okay, so in terms of that, it is fully managed. Okay, can handle the hardware provisioning setup. AWS all handle all the hardware provisioning, all the infrastructure provisioning is managed by the AWS itself. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. Global table, it has a feature of global table where we have the multi-region replica, okay, of the database, right? And so we can write the application in order to retrieve the data from its nearest region itself. Okay, in order to meet the low latency and the best user experience. Okay? That is the feature of global table that comes with the DynamoDB itself. We will see all these things in the practical session also. Okay, but let us understand the concept first. There's various use cases of DynamoDB. Okay, real-time data analytics. Okay, all the sale like say for e-commerce applications, all the users' behavior like their order details. Okay, their visit details. All those things can be stored and can be further leveraged by the DynamoDB for the real-time analytics. Okay, mobile backends. It can every mobile backend have the user registration and user signing features, right? Okay, so in order to store and fast retrieval of the user profile and the authentication and authorization details and the metadata of the profile, we can leverage the DynamoDB in order to implement to serve as the backend database. Okay, and in fact, there are many big companies who are using the DynamoDB from their in their mobile application. Okay, in order to manage and store their small information like the user registration, user profile. Okay, all those things can be happened. Gaming applications in order to manage the scoreboard or the leaderboard. Okay, we can use the DynamoDB itself. Internet of Things, IoT applications, where the very low latency is required in order to push the data from the devices or analyzers. Okay, all the readings from the devices can be pushed to the cloud to the DynamoDB with very low latency. So it is very useful for the IoT applications, developing IoT applications, and using DynamoDB as the backend database itself. Content management system, CMS, also like for the blog site. Okay, and the content CMS sites, in order to maintain the indexes schema where the data are not completely structured. Okay, there are data are, it can have the paragraph, it can have the photos, images, videos. Okay, all those mixed behavior of the data are available. In that scenario also we can use the DynamoDB itself. And further, there are many different scenarios, okay, where the DynamoDB is very useful and very and gives us very right performance, okay, and very low latency. These features we discussed, right? The global tables, fully managed, scalability, performance. These are the big companies, okay, big brands who are using the DynamoDB for their applications, like Amazon itself using the DynamoDB for various of its e-commerce applications. Netflix is using the DynamoDB for the user registration, user profile, and for the storing the metadata of the videos, okay, and the series itself, okay. Airbnb, that is also one of the big brands. Snapchat, Lyft, Samsung, Unilever, Toyota, Spotify, and the Dropbox. These are the big companies who are using the DynamoDB. Okay. So, yeah. That was the intro about the DynamoDB itself. Okay, I hope you like the video. Okay, if you find the sessions very more informative, I would request please like the video and subscribe to my channel, so that all of you will be automatically notified whenever I upload the new session, new videos to my channel. Okay, and also it is very encouraging, and it also motivates us to create more such interesting and informative videos for the community. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for joining the session. Okay, and let us connect. We will upload the practical sessions also of the DynamoDB. Okay, and we will get the automatic notifications. Okay, so in order to do that, please subscribe the channel. Thank you very much for now. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay connected. Thank you.